Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and this is Create Your Own Cozy. On today's video, I'm going to do something that not everybody is going to like. I am going to be painting with DIY paint and Ethan Allen Hutch and using an IOD paint inlay. If you want to see how this turns out, stick around. I'm gonna get some of the stuff out of the way. I know that there are gonna be people that are like, why are you painting this piece of furniture? I found this hutch on Facebook Marketplace for $80 and I was super excited to be able to try an IOD paint inlay on it. When I went to pick it up, she surprised me and said I was realizing as I was cleaning it up that it was Ethan Allen. So before I even knew it was Ethan Allen, my plan was to paint it. And then when I was going to pick it up, guys, there were gouges along the top that needed to be filled in and sanded down and restained, which means in order to keep it in the original form, I would have to strip and restain the whole thing, and I was not in the market for that. So this was not the end user. She was getting rid of it for somebody else. She knew I was painting it and she was excited to see what I was going to do with it. So that out of the way, I ended up painting it and I super duper love how it turned out. You know what? Let's just go ahead and get started. I did not do a great job of getting a before picture, but I did include this in one of my haul videos. So you can see this right here. Here's the hutch all filled up with my haul. And I had already sanded down these gouges. You can see it had to go all the way down to the original stain. So the first thing I did was get out this new, to me, color. And guys, I love it. Faded burlap. Yes, please. What a fun, warm neutral. Here is one coat of faded burlap. This is usually when people can kind of panic and go, what have I done to this? But no worries. This is just the base coat that is needed to attach to the old stuff. I would like to mention I did do salvation solution on all of the parts of the piece that was the raw wood so that the paint adhered the same way. And here is my Mr. Something that you guys with DIY paint, it is a clay-based paint, and the ability to add water to it to change the consistency, smooth it out, have it have this nice, just soft layer. It's just so wonderful. Like, I feel like a true artist because I am in control of the paint. I am in control of how it looks. Here is the second coat. You can see that it dries in different speeds, and that is completely fine. Next, my stockist did not have this for such a long time. Paint inlay rose chintz. When she finally had it, I grabbed it. There are 8 of these pages, and oh my gosh, guys, it is so beautiful. It is even more beautiful in person, in my opinion. So I got the paint inlay. I was originally thinking I need to do the sideways, but the patterns lined up when you did them up and down. And then I was like, you know what, if I put all of the flowers in the back, it's going to limit what you're able to display in this piece. This is how I originally wanted to do it, but the patterns weren't matching up. And then I was like, you know what if I changed where I put the paint inlay and put it in front of the doors and drawers so that when you put display stuff in the piece, it did not take over the whole look of it. So I decided to add the paint inlays to the front of the doors and the drawers. Instead of doing an alternating like white color in the back, I decided to do this is where the flowers were originally going to go, and I just decided to do another layer of the faded burlap. Figured with the inlay on the front there'd be enough. I didn't want this to be too busy, and I wanted what was displayed in here to be able to kind of be a star. So here I am doing the second layer with my water mister bottle. This one I happen to have gotten from Hobby Lobby for $9.99. Guys, go get yourself a mister. It is such an investment. The next thing I did is I dry fit. I cut all the papers to fit the spaces appropriately, made sure that it was going to work out, and then I started applying. I did one not too heavy, not too light layer of paint. This is what your paint inlay is going to embed into. So you need to do a solid layer of paint wherever you're going to do the paint inlay. It is a really cool product where there's legit paint on the paper that is going to meld with your applied paint. So you do your solid coat. One of the best practices that I've heard is that you lightly mist the painted side of the paper. You put it down, you use your fingers to make sure everything adheres. After you do that, you mist the whole backside of the paper, and then make sure there's not any standing water. Wipe it up and then let it dry completely until you move on to the next step. After your paper is dried completely, you come back and you re-mist it. Make sure that that color and the translucent, you can see through the paper all the way. That way you know that everything is wet and it's going to be able to pull up well. And make sure there's no standing water because now the paint is reactivated, right? And you pull it up. Guys, look how beautiful this is. Oh my goodness, I love it so much. It is just such a fun process to do, and it is something that if you haven't tried it yet, I would say just move past the fear, take your time, and it is really an awesome product that you guys can do it too. Guys, if I can do it, you can totally do it. So when you take the paper off, all you need to do is go lay it down flat and let it dry, and these papers can be used again. Up to 3 times is what I've heard. I think the color that you use in the background probably needs to stay consistent because that, you know, some of the faded burlap paint does come up on the paper, but I basically just pull it off and set it aside to dry, and it dries pretty quickly, and then you can repackage it and save it for next time. So one of the questions that I kept asking my family, should I have this be freshly painted or distressed? See, I wet distressed over here, and everyone that I asked in my family said distressed. So I am going to go around this with a wet rag, wet distress the edges, not the spaces where the paint inlay is at, because I do not want to spread the paint inlay. I will distress, like I try to do it right there, and I'm like, whoops, nope, shouldn't be doing that. I'm going to use a sander after I've sealed the front of that. Is how I'm going to sand where the paint inlay is, but I wet distress the rest of the piece, and I am very happy with that choice. In my last project, I tried using Big Top to seal a paint inlay, and guys, that's not for me. So I'm just going to bring the pieces outside, spray it with some Rust-Oleum clear spray, quick and dirty. It seals the paint, it seals the inlay. There's no chance of me pulling it with a paintbrush. That's just how I'm going to choose to do it. Yes, I did have to carry the big piece of furniture out to spray the doors, but it was totally worth it to know that these flowers were going to be beautiful and intact. So after I did that and it dried outside, I did go over the edges with some sandpaper, just because I had wet distress the whole thing and I wanted there to be a consistent look to it. Sorry about the footage. I did not bring my tripods. I'm trying to do both at the same time, but you guys get the idea. After everything was dry, I did go over the entire thing with DIY clear wax. I knew that this was going to be at my home for just a little bit, and I did not want it to be a shiny piece, so I decided to go with the wax for a top coat. The first 24 hours is a little scary looking because it does dry pretty splotchy, but after 24 hours, it's all pretty much consistent. You can buff it out to add a little bit of a sheen to it, and I am super happy with the rich color that adding that top coat to the DIY paint does, and I am loving faded burlap now, guys. You might see that a little bit more with me. It's a nice neutral without painting everything white. did you guys think? It's painted, it's done, the damage has been done. Now do you see that it is a super cool piece that I cannot wait to find room in my new booth space to get this stuff in there. Just put some beautiful white stoneware. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so beautiful. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think I modernized it? And or do you think I made it so that someone is going to be proud to put this piece in their home? I have, let's just say $40 in paint inlay. I went through 1.5 sizes of these in the color for faded burlap as far as product. And then I have $80 in the actual piece. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna refinish this the way that I would want it if I got to keep this piece. If it doesn't end up selling, I'm gonna say $400 to $500. If it doesn't end up selling at that price point, it's not worth it to get rid of it, and I will find a place for it in my own home. So that's how I feel about this beauty. Let me know in the comments below, is this something that you would ever try? Let's just say not Ethan Allen. Is this something that you would ever try? These paint inlays, they are beautiful. They take a second to get used to, but once you do, the quality and the look of the piece is just, it's so much different than a transfer. I'm excited to get this project out of the garage, into my finished pile, and I'm gonna find a way to get it in my booth soon. Just some refinagling. For those of you guys that don't know, I did upgrade my 2 booths into one larger one. It is 12 feet deep by 15 feet wide. I have found that having the frontage, just like real estate, that 15 feet of frontage is allowing more people to come in to my booth, stay a while, shop around, dig a little bit, and I am finding it to be a fabulous first month so far in my new booth space. If you guys are new here, I don't always paint Ethan Allen furniture. I do upcycle small projects and other non-brand furniture as well. So if you are new here, I would love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel and hitting that notification bell to all so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Guys, I am excited about this one. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know in the comments below, did I crush this piece of furniture? I think I crushed it. And let me also know in the comments below, what are you crushing this week? So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Henry, I know I gave you a bath and I brushed you, but are you really gonna be mad at me forever?